Hello guys and girls, and welcome to episode 4 of Seb Talks Sports. That intro that you just heard there was created by All-Pro New York Giants running back, now music creator and friend of the show, David Wilson. Go and check him out on all of his social media platforms at 4StillRunning on Twitter and Instagram, and his music under David E. Wilson across all good music streaming services. He's also available for business, so hit him up if you want some beats for your podcast, advert, commercial, absolutely anything you need. Before I get into this episode, I just want to say that if you're not already following Seb Talks Sports across all platforms, then please do. You can find me on Facebook, Seb Talks Sports, YouTube, Seb Talks Sports, Twitter at Seb Talks Sports, and Instagram where I'm primarily active. Again, it's at Seb Talks Sports. Today I've got an incredible guest, a 9-year NBA veteran point guard who matched up against Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan, just to name a few, in a career that took him to the 1999 NBA Finals against all the odds. It's the one and only Chris Childs. Enjoy! My guest today is a 9-year NBA veteran guard who played for the New York Knicks, New Jersey Nets and Toronto Raptors, an NBA Finals player, and a 1999 Eastern Conference champion. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome Chris Childs to Seb Talk Sports. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing, Seb. Thanks for having me, man. It was a struggle us hooking up, but we're here now, so let's have some fun.
That's it. We had a few technical difficulties, but we're all going now, so looking forward to getting into it. So what would you say were your earliest memories of playing sport and basketball particularly, and at what point did you know you both wanted to and could do it as a career?
Well, early on, it was my dream, but I was a baseball player. I was a better baseball player than basketball. But when I went away to college, they didn't have a baseball team. They had a baseball club. And so when that occurred, I just continued to play basketball and put all my energy into that sport. And, luckily, by the grace of God, I was able to realize my dream.
And what sort of age did you think you could make it in the sport?
Well, it was just a belief in my ability. A lot of times when you're coming up, you have guys that can jump high, that can run fast. But I just had determination and perseverance that it was something that I wanted to do, and I knew that I had to put the work in to do it. Coming from, Bakersfield, California, there weren't a lot of professional athletes to come out of my town. So I wanted to be one of the guys that the younger kids can look up to and say, okay, if he made it, then I can make it as well. So that was a lot of my motivation, and along with my parents' support, my other siblings' support, just a lot of great people that come into my life, I was able to succeed.
Absolutely. And of course, you said about your college career there, so I want to touch on that quickly because you had a great college career at Boise State. You were the Big Sky Conference Player of the Year in 1989, and then had an incredibly unique professional career in that you went undrafted in the NBA and so made your name in the CBA, and you won a title with the Quad City Thunder in 1994. How much did you enjoy your time both at college and the CBA, and which lesson that you learned there proved most valuable in the NBA?
Well, first starting off with college, it was a dream come true to be able to get a scholarship and go to a university to earn education and play basketball and just enjoy the college experience. The main thing that I'm proud of going to Boise State is that I played every game in college. I started every game from my freshman year to my senior year. And I knew that I was going to start and play. I told the coach and I told the seniors at the time at Boise State that I'm taking your position and I'm going to start, because I just had confidence that in my ability. They thought I was crazy, but I just knew, I just trusted in my work ethic, my belief in my ability, and I was able to do that. For 4 years, I started every game at Boise State, so I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the people that I came in contact with, because leaving California, I grew up in a predominantly Black neighborhood, then going to Boise State and seeing something different with other races. It was a learning experience, and it was a good experience to prepare yourself for the real world, because everybody's not the same, but we all be equal. But leaving there and not getting drafted was disappointing, because I thought I was playing well. I was in the Sports Illustrated as the best guard coming out of the West, along with Tim Hardaway. Gary Payton at the time was a year younger, I think, at the time, and then going up against Rod Strickland and all those guys coming out of college, I thought I, matched up well, but it wasn't in the cards for me to get drafted. So I had to go and mature in the CBA, and I bounced around from team to team. And then I finally found a team that really wanted me by an owner of name of Ann DeLong and a coach by the name of Dan Panaggio that believed in me that I could lead a team after being there for 5 years. And, one thing that the NBA looks for is, especially at the point guard position, is he able to lead my team
Yeah.
to win games, win the championship? And it took me a long time to realize that, and I guess that's why I was in the CBA for the time that I was. But once I figured that part out and led the team to a championship, that's when NBA teams took notice. And Willis Reed from the New Jersey Nets gave me a call after we won the championship and told me that they were signing me to a contract. And so at that time, I'm excited. Like, okay, I'm getting signed. But they end up signing me to a partial. So it wasn't even a full guarantee contract. So there again, I have to prove myself. But I was okay with that because I was like, once I get my foot in, I'm gonna knock the door down. So when I got to New Jersey, they had David Wesley was a backup point guard, and Kenny Anderson was a starter. And so I told David, I said, I'm sorry that this has to happen this way, but I'm coming for your spot. And I told Kenny, if you're not ready to practice and play, I'm coming for your spot as well. And I worked my behind off, played with some unbelievable talent with Derek Coleman, Chris Morris, Benoit Benjamin, rest in peace, Armand Gilliam, Jason Williams, Kevin Edwards, Rex Walters, Dwayne Senses. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody out because they'll be mad at me, but Chris Morris. So we had an excellent team. We just didn't mesh at the time, and we were coming out of the East, so we had to play against Michael and the Bulls and everybody. But it was a learning experience that I finally, got my opportunity and end up, they traded David, played with Kenny for a year, and then they ended up trading him. And so it's my team now. And once that occurred, the whole league took notice, and I was going to sign back with New Jersey, but they fired Butch Beard and brought in John Calipari. John and I didn't see eye to eye, and so they didn't want to give me the years that I wanted, but the Knicks did, and went to the Knicks, and the rest is history.
Indeed. And just on that move from the CBA to the NBA, of course, like you said, you signed your first NBA contract in '94 with the Nets, and Hall of Famer Willis Reed brought you in to join the Nets roster, including NBA champions Rick Mahorn and PJ Brown, and All-Stars Derek Coleman, Kenny Anderson, Jason Williams, and Sleepy Floyd, some of the names you mentioned there. So how did it feel to put pen to paper and officially announce yourself as an NBA player and join that star-studded roster?
Well, as I was signing that contract, I was still disappointed and upset that I didn't get a full guarantee. So I was happy. I think at the time, this was in '94, it might have been, I think the full guarantee for a guy coming in was $150. So I think I got half of that, $75,000 at time of signing. And I wasn't happy with that because those other guys were making 10, 15 times what I was making, but wasn't working as hard as I was working. But I remember, and I'm sorry, I forgot PJ Brown, I'm sorry. Rick Moore, I'm sorry. Especially Sleepy Floyd and Sleepy and Vern Fleming. Two of the veterans that I played with that taught me a lot about the game and about the business. So having those guys in my ear and telling me, Chris, don't worry about it, just continue to work. Things are going to come to you because you can play and you work harder than anybody else on the team. And so getting that advice got my head back focused. And, every time I got on the floor, I always thought about the draft, not getting drafted. So I was going to make every guy that got drafted before me pay. I made a T-shirt of all the guys that got drafted before me, and Steve Alford, all those guys. Every time I went up against them, I wouldn't let them get the ball across half court because I knew that I was faster, stronger,
Mm,
and I had more tenacity at the time to succeed. Because a lot of times those guys come from big schools.
yeah.
A lot is given to them. They don't have to go there and work and earn it. So I did, and so by doing that, um, I was going to make them pay every game, every time I saw them. And I remember guys used to tell me, "Man, do you ever take a break?" And my response was, "I don't have time to. I have at the time 2 kids to feed."
And yeah, that obviously that hard work you had there was a key to your 98-99 season, which was an incredible success because you played 48 regular season games and 20 playoff games that year as part of the New York Knicks roster. Defeated the Reggie Miller-led Indiana Pacers to win the Eastern Conference Finals, and then you took to the court against the Spurs in the 1999 Finals on the biggest stage of them all to battle it out for world champions. And you contributed 12 points and 11 assists in 5 games during those finals. So how did it feel to play on the biggest stage of them all? And what did it mean to you, your family, and your teammates?
That year was special because it was a half. It was half. I think it was 50 games,
Mm,
and so we got off to a slow start. And I think we had to win the last, I want to say 10 out of 15 or 11 out of 15 games just to get into the playoffs. And we knew if we got in, that we could play against anybody. Even though we were banged up coming into the playoffs, that didn't matter. The adrenaline and the desire to win and bring another championship back to the city of New York was our main goal. And so once we got the eighth seed, and we knew at the time Miami was the number 1 seed, we knew we can beat them.
mm,
We knew because every year we played them from 95, I think 96 to, no, I'm sorry, 97, 96 to 99, we matched up with them. And the only time they beat us in the playoffs was when we got into the suspension,
mm,
when all the guys got suspended. So that was the only time that they could beat us in a playoff series. So we knew with the additions of Spreewell and Canby and a couple of other guys that we matched up well against them and that we can beat them, and which we did. It was a tough series, but once we got by them, we knew we can. I don't know if it was Indiana first or Charlotte, whatever, but we knew that we could beat Indiana because I think we beat them. I can't remember either it was 2-2 or 3-4, either way
mm.
from each team, but we matched up well against them as well, even though it took a miracle shot by LJ for us to move on. It was just in the cards for us. Uh, the way that the season played out, the way that we got into the playoffs, being an HC, never been done before, going to the finals, and we got up there against San Antonio, and it was just, it wasn't meant to be. We were really banged up. They were Twin Towers playing volleyball.
Mm,
I think if we would have had Patrick healthy,
yeah.
we'd have had a great opportunity against them because then they would have moved Marcus to the 4
Mm,
to match up against David and put Patrick on Duncan, and then they would have moved LJ to the 3, and we could have went to a big guard lineup with Spree and Allen. Could have brought in Speed with myself or Charlie.
mm.
So it would have been a different matchup, and I think it would have been a different outcome. But it was exciting for my family to see that. At the time I was married, for my kids, my mother and father, and all my family to be there and experience that with me. It was an incredible journey.
Mm, absolutely. And obviously, during those finals and just throughout your career, you played with some incredible players. Some of them we've already mentioned, but I'll just touch on them again. So Rick Mahorn and PJ Brown, of course, but also Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, and Charlie Ward, who I recently interviewed, who was great. And of course, the great Vince Carter. I think I know what your answer is going to be here because I've seen your Instagram, but who would you say was your greatest ever teammate you've ever had? And who was your greatest ever opponent?
I said Oakley because with
Mm,
Charles Oakley, we're still close, but I played with probably, don't get a lot of credit. One of the top 10 centers of all time was Patrick Ewing.
mm, yeah.
I just got off the phone with him
Oh,
a couple of hours ago just to check on him, see how he was doing, because he did have a battle with
mm,
COVID-19, the coronavirus. And he said he's doing well, he's stronger. He
Good.
appreciated me checking in on him, and we're brothers for life. We might not agree on everything with family or whatever, but we're brothers, and I never want to see anything bad happen to any of my teammates.
Mm.
Uh, I enjoy playing with Vince. To see a guy come into this league with that much athletic ability
Yeah.
was amazing. And I think with Oak being there, myself being there, being teammates with him, we tried to instill a toughness in the team and him. And to see him play 22 years is just remarkable. That's
Yeah.
a credit to his determination and his professionalism. Uh, when I was in New Jersey, man, I played with some characters. It was hilarious the things that these guys did and got away with. But like I said, Rick Mahorn was there to keep me focused. Like, hey, just keep your eye on the big picture.
Mm.
Don't fall into the traps of what other people are doing. Do what you do. Carve your own niche in the league and with coaches. And one thing that I prided myself on was coming to practice every day
Yeah.
and being a professional and working on my game. And I think that's why I was able to play for the teams that I played with. They respected my leadership. They respected the way that I worked. It was just unfortunate my last 2 years, which I asked to be waived by the New Jersey Nets when they played in the finals from '02 to '04 against the Lakers. I was on that team, but wasn't able to get healthy, and that would have been me taking a roster spot from somebody that could help the team because I couldn't at the time. So that was one of my regrets. I wish I could have been healthy to help that team out, but all in all, 9 years being one of the best players to ever play in the NBA because everybody that plays is great in their own way.
Mm.
But I played against some remarkable, talented players. Michael Jordan, one
Yeah.
of the best. Allen Iverson,
Mhm.
Stephon Marbury, um, Rod Strickland, Scottie Pippen, Terrell Brandon. Um, I played with Vince, Tracy McGrady.
Mm.
Going against these guys at 6'9" with 7'3" wingspans and um, going in there and battling against Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe
Mm.
Mutombo. It's just some great players. I think a guy that doesn't get a lot of credit is Michael Finley.
Mm.
Played against him, played against Mitch Richmond, Tim Hardaway. It's just a list. Magic Johnson was
Yeah.
one of my mentors. I had a chance to play against him and in the CBA. And he told me then when I was working hard to try to make it to the NBA, he said, Chris, you just keep working. You can play in this league. And I had a picture of us walking on the court and him with his arm around me telling me that. So all these things I cherish and appreciate. And I don't mean to leave anybody out. Just right now, those are the guys that I can think of: Mark Price, Steve Nash. I can go on and on and on and on, but it's nothing like putting on that uniform and going out there competing against the best.
Mm. Absolutely. And as well as players, you've played on some great coaches as well. So Bobby Dye at Boise State during the college days, Butch Beard, Jeff Van Gundy, Lenny Williams, and Byron Scott. So some great coaches there. But which coach personally would you say was most influential to your game, and which single piece of advice that they gave you was most useful?
Well, it has to go back to me growing up playing basketball in the vacant lots and the backyards
Mm.
and the parks. The neighborhood that I grew up in wasn't an easy neighborhood to navigate through because there was a lot of bad things going on. But going to these parks and playing all day in 104-degree heat,
Mm.
that prepared me for anything that could come my way. And then my 13-year, I was 13 years of age. I was 14, and I grew up on one side of the town, and on the east side, and on the west side, there was a coach. I can't think of his name offhand. Virgil Wilson.
Mm.
Virgil Wilson was our junior high coach, and they were getting ready to go. We were getting ready to go to Hawaii to play, and that was big for us. growing up in inner city. And so um, I would have to go across town to practice with that team because everybody else was from that side of town. And he told me that his guy at the time was going to start, and I wasn't. And I couldn't understand that because I knew I was better. I played better. And so I told him, well, if you're going to start him and I don't want to play, got on my bike and went home. And my dad asked me, what are you doing here? You have practice. I said, no, I'm not going to play because I'm not starting and I'm better than the guy. And he said, you quit? I said, yeah, I quit. He said, well, I'll tell you this. If you start quitting now, you'll quit the rest of your life. I'm not going to make you go back over there now, but if I ever find out you quit anything again, then there's going to be a problem.
Mm.
And so that was one of the lessons that I learned growing up and then getting into high school and things not going your way. You can't tuck your tail and run. You have to just continue to battle through things. And that helped me going to Boise State, playing for Bobby Dye, who was a taskmaster, used to yell and curse all the time. But come to find out, he was preparing me for the next level in the NBA because you're working. Once you get to the NBA, they're not going to babysit you. You have to be responsible for yourself. And me going and playing for Butch Beard, who I enjoy playing for, the Hall of Famer Lenny Wilkins,
Mm.
taught me a lot how to be a professional, how to take care of your body, how to be a student of the game. And then going to New York and playing for Jeff, who was a real student of the game, who videoed and watched so much film that he had bags under his eyes. And I think lost a lot of hair watching him pulling his hair out, watching film of of us playing and watching other teams prepare. So I took a lot from every coach, and I kind of used that with how I train the kids that I train here in Jacksonville, Florida, on how to be a professional, how to approach your workouts, how to be a student of your craft, and it only helps you in the end to be a true professional at this game that I love.
Mm. So I'm a Raptors fan. If I do that, might be able to see the flag a bit better behind me. There you go.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
That's the one. So I'd love to know about your season and a half in Toronto from 2000. So after your time on the Knicks, you joined the Raptors and played a total of 95 regular season games and 17 playoff games in Toronto on a franchise that had consecutive playoff appearances with you as a key piece to the team. So how much did you enjoy your time on the Raptors? And as a personal hero of mine, what was it like playing alongside the great Vince Carter?
It was an incredible time because when I initially got traded from New York, I got traded at 11:59, 30 seconds. The trade deadline is at midnight.
Mm.
So I was disappointed, but once I got to the city, the city is just incredible.
Mm.
Toronto's a beautiful city. So I view it as a cleaner New York. The people are amazing. The food is amazing. The women are beautiful. Uh, the fans are incredible. They just enjoyed it, and they had so much energy, and we had an unbelievable team of all stars on Antonio Davis, Oakley, Alvin Williams, Morris Peterson, and then the great Vince Carter.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't do justice watching him on TV. Vince, he jumps a lot higher than it looks. But the thing that I appreciate about playing there and playing with Vince, that he was receptive to criticism and advice. We were neighbors. We stayed across the hall from each other in a condo, so we had a lot of conversations the years that I was there. And my brother would come down and we would have dinner and we would just sit there and talk about the game. I proposed questions of what did he expect out of himself, and I told him what I expected out of him as a point guard. That even though I'm the point guard, you're our leader. You have to lead us, and not only by just verbally, but you have to lead by example on how you prepare for the game, how you approach the game. And his ears were wide open, and I appreciate those times that we shared, and that he was able to soak in some of the things that I was telling him, because I had playoff experience, and I know he knew that, and he was just sit there and enjoy our conversation. And I appreciate it. I appreciate his talent, and I appreciate him listening to not only myself, but Charles Oakley and Antonio Davis, and also Dale Curry, who I forgot to mention was my teammate, the father of Steph and Seth Curry. I knew those young men when they were 7 and 8 years of age. So that experience was great. And Vince was an integral part of our success while I was there, and the success of other guys before I got there.
So this year, of course, we tragically lost Kobe Bryant in a helicopter crash. And obviously you had a notable incident with Kobe. We had a fight against each other on the court in April 2000, which of course you've since come out and said you didn't have any beef with each other, which is great. And you posted a really respectful post on your Instagram after he passed away, which I thought was just awesome to see. What did Kobe Bryant mean to you, and what legacy do you think he has on the game of basketball?
Well, that was a sad day. I was in the gym training about 20 kids, and my phone kept ringing. It usually doesn't, because I let people know I'm training, and I'll contact them later, but it kept ringing and ringing and ringing. So I felt something was wrong. I picked up the phone, walked outside, and got the news. And I immediately, I can't remember what I said, but the people that were working in the gym asked me if I was okay. I walked outside, had my moment, but I had to gather myself, because I had to go in and tell these young men what happened, which they were all big fans, and kind of get myself together so I could continue training, because I know that's something that Kobe would do because of his desire to be great. So I had to do that, and it was a difficult thing because of our past, things that happened in our past. I had to really do some soul searching. I was in a bad space. I think everybody was. It just seemed like time stopped.
Yeah.
It stopped, and I couldn't figure it out. So it took me about at least a week to get a full understanding of the moment. I had to talk to my mother, get some spiritual advice from her, and she put things in perspective along with other friends. I spoke with a lot of other people who were close to Kobe and played against him and grew up with him to get some perspective. And so at the end of the day, I just felt that what's going on in this world, that he's in a better place. Even though we want the physical, he's in a better place, because the life that we're living right now and the place that we are is this is not the world that I know it to be. So he's leaving a legacy of all young people who emulate him on the court, off the court, the things that he was trying to bring to the forefront as far as women's basketball, equal rights for women, equal pay. And he didn't do it to get the notoriety. It's something that was on his heart. And you can always learn from someone, whether they're younger than you, older than you. You can take a part of what they're doing in their life and try to instill it in yours. And that's what I do when I mentor these young men on how to be exceptional males, and as far as training them the game of basketball and how to play it the right way, and giving full maximum effort every time they're on the court, because you never know when it'll be your last time dribbling the basketball. So Kobe will be sorely missed, but we shouldn't be sad. We should celebrate his legacy and the things he's accomplished on the court. He's an ambassador of the game and will continue to be. And even though I competed against him and we had one altercation, I'm still a fan of his and will always be a fan.
Chris, I'm going to end with some quick fire questions. You ready?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Okay, favorite takeout food?
Ooh, favorite takeout food. We gotta go Mexican.
Yeah, same here. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Biggie or Tupac?
Oh man, that's tough. Tupac.
Favorite sports movie of all time?
Favorite sports movie of all time has to be The fish that saved Pittsburgh. You got to look it up if you've never seen it.
Will do. Describe how it felt to be Eastern Conference champions in one word.
Awesome.
Awesome. Funniest guy in any locker room you've ever been a part of?
Funniest guy. Let me see. Oh, myself.
Yourself, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I was a comedian. But other than myself, let me give some. Rick Brunson was pretty funny. He played with me in New York, and Alvin Williams from when I played with him in Toronto.
Nice. Best locker room prank you can say on my show.
Best locker room prank. It wasn't a prank, but I remember Xavier McDaniel got into a fight with Wes Matthews, and Wes went to the bathroom, went to the locker room to take a shower, and as he was in the shower, Xavier poured baby oil in the shower, so he started fighting him, and Wes couldn't get up because he kept slipping because he was barefoot, but Xavier had all this stuff on, so that was probably the funniest.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so in that 2002 playoff game against the Pistons, when you were down by 3, were you looking for a foul or did you forget the score? What caused that confusion at the end of the game there?
Yeah, I was looking for a foul. It was a bad play on my part. I should have did something different, but I was looking for a foul and thought I can get a quick shot or get a 3 or whatever. But if you play long enough, you're gonna have a Shaq and the Fool moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your favorite NBA player of all time?
It has to be George the Iceman Gervin.
And finally, which team is winning the Larry O'Brien Trophy this season?
Oh my gosh, that's a tough one. Milwaukee.
Nice. Good choice. Chris, thank you so much for your time. I've had an absolute blast talking to you. Where can people find you on social media?
I'm on IG. I'm on Facebook. It's just Chris. I don't have a handle or anything. Anybody can reach out. I try to get back to all the fans and answer any questions, whether they're good or bad, like me, dislike me. It doesn't matter because we're all one person. We're all human beings, and I enjoy interacting with the fans. So look for me.
Awesome, man. Thanks. I'll leave all your links below so people can find you very easily.
All right, Seb. Thank you, man.
And there he goes, 1999 Eastern Conference champion and New York Knicks legend, Chris Childs, an amazing player and an even greater guy. I could have talked to him for hours. I've got a lot more great guests coming very soon, so stay tuned right here on Seb Talks Sports. And to take us out as usual, here's another brilliant track by All-Pro New York Giants running back, turned music creator and friend of the show, David Wilson. Catch you soon, guys.